And
there it is. That's done. Awesome.
And oh, wait. All right. Darn, I figured out Zoom, but I'm not sure. But I'm not sure here.
What's that?
Okay, so I'm hit share, right?
Pardon me?
Okay, so that's my screen. Is my screen? Can you guys see my screen?
No. Oh wait, yeah, there it is.
Oh.
I think it's just a delay.
Okay. Yeah, I may not have the best. All right. So if I do the slideshow here, hopefully.
Can anybody else see it? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Do you guys see this?
Yeah, I see the slideshow. Overview of presentation.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay.
See it.
So I'll just dive right in if that's cool. All right. This is not going to be nearly as interesting as Daniel made it sound. But I'm just going to kind of give a little bit. Like I did a couple of grad classes at U of R in human resource management this past semester, and one of them was a semester-long research paper, and basically identifying a way. I'm going to stumble over my words, that you can incorporate something HR related into either a company you're working for, or a company you've worked for in the past, and some, kind of, you get my gist. So I kind of researched more and looked at Keaton and Company and different ways that different opportunities there. So bear with me. There's a point to the whole thing when I get through it all, but I'm going to kind of start and kind of give just a little overview of things you already know about Keaton and Company, corporate social responsibility, what that is and how it helps businesses, some examples, and then kind of a possible plan for implementing it. And then I'm going to ask you to fill out a survey at the end to help us sort of get started with it. And Duke and Daniel, please jump in if like any of my facts don't seem right, or if need to be added on. Can you guys still hear me?
Loud and clear.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with Keaton and Company. As you know, Daniel had formed this. Well, Daniel's been in real estate for over 10 years, if I'm right, Daniel, right? And about in 2015, he started the team. And at that point, he created a mission and vision and core values for his business, centering around Christian principles, and wove that through the mission, vision, and the core values, which are the fruits of the Spirit. He formed his brokerage, or the Keaton and Company, in 2020 of this year. The team started in 2015, if I'm right, with like 3 agents and 2 admin. I could be wrong with that, but it's now grown to 16 agents, and might be even more than that because I wrote this, and 4 admin. Over the past year, they've more than doubled the size and business volume. I looked at like 2019 and like kind of loosely did some calculations. Looked like there was maybe a 18% turnover rate, which is considerably lower than the industry average, and very low in considering that estimates put that 10% of new agents remain in the field after the first year. According to NRA, only 87% of all new agents stay in the industry after 5 years. And I don't share those to be scary statistics. Just, I think anybody who's been through the training knows, the difficulty it is to get firmly established in this business. But I share those mainly to say, that Keaton and Company has, that Daniel has a really exceptionally low turnover rate. And these are just some different things I'd found in my research about what helps agents in their first few years. And the main thing it boils down to is ongoing training, mentorship, competitive agent splits, providing leads, providing ongoing training, mentorship, administrative assistance, a team mentality. There's a lot of benefits to a team, and and lots of effort ways that you can build that team identity. And honestly, all of these things are things you can check off with Keaton and Company, because Daniel's already done all this, and which obviously shows why the company has been so successful. So when I was looking, there's really no problem statement, because obviously it's very successful, but I was looking more at what could be an opportunity, and then started learning more about corporate social responsibility. And one thing that falls under that is community engagement. It's kind of under the umbrella of that. And how can it be incorporated as a kind of a strategic plan for Keaton and Company? And obviously something Daniel wants to do. It's in his heart. It's kind of goes hand in hand with all the values he puts into the company, but also it could be used as a strategic plan within the business model of the company as well. So just to let you know a little bit about CSR, this down and dirty, just a quick summary of it. Corporate social responsibility has been around since the Industrial Revolution, just mainly coming out of the human atrocities and stuff that were being seen and identified at that time. But it came to be defined in the 1950s and just called corporate social responsibility. But lots of there's not a real big consensus on what's involved in corporate social responsibility, but the most popular model came in the early 1990s by Archie Carroll. And he defined it in such a way, it's almost like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you've ever studied that in intro psychology, where it builds up from the bottom up, and you have to meet the lower levels in order to meet the next level. Like in that model, you can't get to self-actualization at the pinnacle of the pyramid unless you've met all your base needs. And this is kind of how he defined the responsibilities that companies have to the community. The first one starts off with economic ones. Basically, the foundation of it is for a company to be responsible, moves up to legal responsibilities, which is basically for a company to obey the law, then ethical, and then at the pinnacle are the philanthropic responsibilities. And these are basically volunteerism, environmental sustainability policies that companies have, and things like that. The bottom two, the legal and economic, he said, are basically socially mandated and required. It'd be very hard to stay in business if you're not meeting those. So ethical is to be socially expected. Unfortunately, companies can get by without being ethical, but they're not going to succeed in the long run, hopefully. But the socially desirable is the philanthropic ones. And so kind of looking through this lens, you can see where Keaton Company is in prime position to kind of incorporate that, a philanthropic kind of arm to its or branch to its business model, because it very clearly meets the underlying ones. Why should we care about CSR? I mean, beyond it feels good to do good. There's lots of evidence it does help. Here's just a few stats. In 2011, S&P 500 companies, only about 20% of them reported their CSR, but by 2015, that number jumped to 81%, and it's still growing. Corporate responsibility can do a lot to attract customers. 55% of consumers said they're willing to pay more for products from socially responsible companies. And CSR program can help drive employee recruitment. 79% of millennials said they would consider a corporate responsibility when they decide where to work. And 83% of millennials said they would be more loyal to a company with a CSR program, according to recent studies by the Cone Communications. So it's definitely being used along with marketing, branding, research and development, and innovation, talent management, and operations by many corporations. It can help companies remain competitive, grow market share, and enhance customer loyalty. It enhances community relations and contributes to favorable public image, and basically helps increase the company's brand recognition. So just want to give a few examples. The cloud computing firm Salesforce.org has kind of built around their business model a spirit of volunteerism. And they kind of wrote it up in the thing that giving back, it's not just a perk of working at Salesforce, it's part of the culture and driving force behind why employees join the company. I had the opportunity to interview Mark Smith. You guys might recognize him as from his radio commercials for Midas.
Mark Smith of Midas of Richmond, I know him.
Yeah, he's really nice guy. I interviewed him for this, and he very down to earth. He basically said, if you haven't heard his commercials on TV, he does a lot of blood drives and also donations for Feed More. And he said he's kind of incorporated that into his business from the very get-go, and been strategic about it. He hosts, blood drives for free, oil changes, and then for discounted state inspections with donations to Feed More. He said it's something he feels like it's very synonymous with his brand. He said him and his wife will sometimes just be stopped in the grocery store by people that recognize them and give them money to donate to his causes. So he said, it's kind of evident that, it has helped brand him. But he was very honest that saying, it's hard to put numbers to it. And it's almost impossible to put numbers to it. It's just so subjective. But as to, does it actually help increase business volume? Does it actually help retain employees? But, I think he's just opened his 5th shop in Scott's Addition. So he has been very successful with his business.
Yeah, he's successful.
Yeah, and he said that his average tenure for the people that work for him are like 9 to 10 years, which in the auto shop industry is really good. So again, it's very hard to correlate the two, but it's all part of the culture and all part of, I guess, the environment. So anyway, wanted to just give more examples, like Keller Williams has kind of done this. They've incorporated into their, and you guys probably heard of it before too, their Red Day initiatives, which is Renew, Energize, and Donate. And then they also published in 2011 a Green Your Home book, which it helps consumers create healthy and sustainable lifestyles at home. So they've kind of built that in as well. And it's something that, they have built around some pride around. And so I was just trying to find some other examples. There's a ton of examples out there. Roost, I think this is a real estate agency in Nebraska, and they do volunteering for Habitat for Humanity, and this is one, they're on their webpage that they build that into their thing. This was on NBC 12 a couple weekends ago. Treehouse Realty responding to the COVID crisis. So these are all great examples, and you kind of go into it, but as digging into more and more of the research, there's lots of holes in the research as to, does it actually definitely correlate to helping the bottom line? And there's an article in Forbes that basically said, no, it doesn't. But that doesn't mean doesn't have value, and it's obviously something I think that is a natural extension of Daniel and Daniel's values and the things he's put into his company. So kind of how would be a good plan to go forward with it is to take an inventory of kind of what's already been done. And that is in this questionnaire, kind of I asked kind of what things you guys have done, because I think this group is just a highly altruistic group. So there's tons of things, that you guys have already done. I think Daniel said Kat and her family every weekend go and do serve food. And Taylor has done some fundraising for SPCA and just all kinds of things. I know you guys are all very involved in the community and giving back. So kind of the survey is going to assess kind of what things you guys know of. You guys are the ones who are out there with your kind of your fingers on the pulse of the community. So you know what the needs are and what agencies are already out there, what ones are doing good. Then kind of thinking about the different various options and benefits. There's a lot to say, if as a team you get involved, it's more of it can help really build engagement too. So I would like veer more towards that than like just, financially donating to something, and then kind of strategically coming up with a plan, so that it doesn't just become something that's kind of like a one and done deal or gets lost by the wayside, but actually gets something that's built into the culture. I know Daniel was concerned about, not having it come out as bragging that, doing good and not, bragging about it but I guess I might challenge to look at it as more of a personal branding, as an extension of kind of the authenticness of Keaton and Company. And kind of it goes very much into the development of the brand, which I think will help really kind of show the public, the whole heart of service that Keaton and Company is all about. And that's all I have. If you guys have any questions or want to share anything, please do. And did I lose you?
Awesome. That was
Debbie,
awesome.
I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. I literally was gonna call you last night, and this is insane. This is I am in awe right now. I was literally I was researching Feed More last night with how we could volunteer with them, because they posted on social media that they had this huge influx of people who work there. And I was like, well, we all work and we all have jobs, thankfully, still. But why don't we volunteer? And I was like, I could do it. And then I was like, oh my gosh, our team could do it. So
Yeah.
I was so hyped when you started talking about it. You should have seen me in my house. I look ridiculous right now. My eye is very swollen due to allergies, so I will not let you see it. But
Well, that makes me so excited. Yay.
So I just have a question, then I'll stop taking over. But so are you going to initiate it? Because I would love to talk to you on the phone after this and brainstorm.
Well, it's kind of all
these pages.
I think yes. I would love to spearhead it, and kind of
Little break, okay.
drive it forward, if that makes sense, and help Daniel with it. So
okay, well, yeah, if you're gonna do it, and Daniel, if you're okay, Debbie, can I call? Are you free for 20 minutes after this? And I want to brainstorm with you.
Oh, sure, yeah. And Ashley, can I really encourage you too to please fill out the survey?
I already did. I did the second.
Oh,
you sent
thank you.
it.
Okay, because I think with the survey, we can get all that together, and then Daniel can, and I can kind of share it with Daniel and then look at it and kind of see, does this, how does this fit with what Daniel sees for his company, kind of a thing. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then never mind. Skip what I said.
Oh no, I think everybody. Yeah.
Look, I'm all about it. The way I see it, it's y'all's company, and I'm I'd like to be a part of it, but I trust you guys to start something and present some ideas to everyone and see what everybody wants to get behind. I think that's fine.
And I'd like to throw this out there. You absolutely do not have to get involved with the thing that my family does, but we do feed people downtown every Sunday. Definitely use help.
Yeah, I think whatever happens, I think it will be important to think about the current economic situation and what's happening in the world. And I think probably Feed More is a type of organization that needs help, needs donations now more than any. You just see these news reports of the food bank in Chesterfield where it's the line is a mile long. So organizations like that, And then what Katarina's family is doing is directly, like, really handing the food right to the people who need it. And you know, you're looking at 20 to 30 million people who are jobless and who live paycheck to, many live paycheck to paycheck. So the food thing is a huge thing to think about right now. I think that's cool. Like, I'm all about it. I mean, Debbie, if you and Ashley want to chat, and you know, Ashley seems pretty passionate about it, I'd say y'all chat and brainstorm some ideas, and then we can all, you know, chat later about it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think that was really kind of the idea of just getting it started, getting everybody to kind of give their own thought in the survey and what they, you know, their feelings towards it, and kind of seeing then what kind of consensus comes out of that and how that fits.
Sure.
And yeah, if that, and yeah.
Yeah, I fill out the survey. Everybody takes, you know, 2 to 5 minutes or less. Yeah, real quick.
But yeah, there's lots of great ways that, you know, you can have fun with it, and and help and look
totally
at
agree.
what are some of the most pressing needs right now.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, food and I don't know. I mean, I think it's to be determined what's the big stuff that's going to be needed. To me, food is a big one. Just, you know, it seems like that's going to be happening.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So this was a 30, how many pages, Debbie? Like 35-page report that you did?
It was a beast.
You condensed it to a nice little short presentation. It was very good. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate that.
Oh, welcome. Well, it's exciting to be able to make something like so it's not just like a futile like academic.
Put it in practical use.
Something that can be. So I thank you for like just the opportunity to make something seem real. You know, real. That's more exciting that way.
It's all you. It's your idea, and you know, it's not. I no credit for me, but I think it's awesome, and I think it's cool. I think, you know, there is value to a group and an organization getting behind a singular passion to help people. You know, just help people, and we do that. We help people in real estate, but also I think, you know, it's important not to focus on the people that you can help that will ultimately give something back to you, like real estate commissions or whatever it is. So, you know, helping people without receiving anything in return is the good thing. You know, it's really good thing. So I think it'd be cool to get behind something. I love it.
Yeah. And Daniel had brought up kind of naming it, sort of, kind of having that branch of it named, like Keaton Cares or something like that too. So that, which
that was it was just a thought. Cares with a K.
Yeah.
That worked out. That'd be weird.
Something that we can brainstorm.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea. I think it's something cool that, like, what a lot of things, some of them I'm seeing are doing are kind of on the website, putting it sort of as just a little offshoot, like, you know.
Sure.
Doing, like, you know, I saw some, I should have put it in the presentation, but I saw some where they are already kind of talking about how they're environmentally sustainable by going paperless, you know. Yeah, that's something you guys have already done by investing so much in your in the online or in the software and everything. Is that pretty much this is essentially paperless.
Yeah, we're paperless.
Which is not everybody does that. I mean, during my short stint at Hometown, they were all on paper. I mean, it was, you know, it was very old school. So lots of trees.
It's just more convenient.
Oh yeah, it is more, but it is also environmentally sustainable too. So but so there's lots of things, like that. So
cool. Any other thoughts? Anybody had any ideas or organizations that going through your head as Debbie was talking about it?
Well, and it doesn't necessarily have to, I mean, this can be very fluid. Like it can be, like when I envisioned, like I had to create something that had like, do all this crazy stuff, like with the return on investment and all that. So it looked like what I was thinking like a biannual event, like do something in the fall, do something in the spring as a group, and build in things to that. But it can be very fluid. I mean, there,
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
there's a, I guess you would call it a reading program, but it's a lot more than that. That I used to, before I had a child, I volunteered with once a week with my grandmother. And basically it's for underprivileged children in the city. Lola! Oh, sorry. And the kids go there after school and you help them with their homework and tutor them. And then they feed them dinner and do like a scripture reading and talk about a Bible verse. And it's a really beautiful thing because, my goodness, because it's a way to reach out to these underprivileged children who have very rough lives, very, very rough lives. They're all living in special housing and that kind of stuff. And it's Christian. So if someone wants to do something like that, you can sign up for certain days of the week, but it's also something that maybe you can put on an event for the kids. I don't know. My grandmother does it.
Yeah, that sounds cool. There are lots of cool ways to do it. Like we can incorporate, like, there's just so many, it's endless. Yeah. Like you can do it there, like Meals on Wheels, like like do rotating shifts, all kinds of ways to do it.
Yeah, Meals on Wheels is part of Feed More. Found that out last night.
Yeah. So
when I did research on it.
Oh, well, yeah. So yeah. It sounds like we can.
I think the food thing was really awesome. Obviously, I'm big into the food situation, but I think that Katarina came up with a good idea as far as education. Like, my son, he's home now because all school's around, and he's not, going to school right now. So anything we can do to help the kids anywhere right now with some kind of education program, I think would be a good one to invest in as well.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of moms and dads are pulling their hair out trying to teach their kids.
Well, I mean, the underprivileged children too, their parents aren't necessarily in a position where they can carry on their schooling. I mean, I would venture to guess a lot of their parents really can't read.
Yeah. Or they got to go to work to pay bills. How are they going to stay home and, teach their kids? Yeah, I mean, there's so many like implications of all this stuff going on, but that's a good point. Like, I wonder what school is going to look like next year. Not to go on a rabbit trail, but like, our kids going to have a lot of catching up to do. And yeah, I mean, like a summer reading program or like tutoring or something like that. Probably, I'm sure there's a need, and there may be an organization to get behind. That's already doing it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, those are awesome ideas. So, yeah.
Well, anyway, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Debbie. We appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing, Debbie.
That was awesome.
Thank you guys. Ashley,
good.
yeah, call me. Well, I'd love to find out what you know about Feed More. So, yeah.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
Cool, guys. Sounds good. Well, thank you, Debbie, and hope you guys have an awesome day. We'll be back on Friday. Who's on for Friday?
You, Rachel.
Tag.
Rachel Stagg.
Rachel's